Your conversion report, your conversion numbers, they're lying to you. You're losing cases that never even make it into your data. They become ghosts. They just disappear. No one talks about them. No one considers them. Every week, you have leads that would have qualified, that could have turned into cases, that could have turned into real revenue for your firm. And you'll never see those cases in your data. You'll never see them in your conversion report. Listen, that's an uncomfortable KPI, but it is absolutely critical to comprehend.
Welcome to the Intake Playbook, the podcast where we transform your law firm's intake process into a secret weapon. I'm your host, Gary Falkowitz, and I've spent more than a decade helping law firms across the country maximize their intake performance. If you want to stop leaving cases on the table, create a better client experience, and grow your revenue, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
All right. I want to let you in on a little secret that most firms don't realize until it's too late. Your conversion report, your conversion numbers, they're lying to you. You're losing cases that never even make it into your data. That's right. You might be patting yourself on the back for a decent conversion rate, but you're blind to an invisible leak that's probably costing you more than you'd like to admit. Here's what I mean. I recently worked with a firm that was very proud of their intake metrics. Here's what I mean. I recently worked with a firm that was very proud of their intake metrics. They could tell me down to the decimal point what percentage of agreements that were sent out came back signed, which is great to know, by the way. But then I asked a simple question. What about the qualified leads who were never given an agreement to sign in the first place? Folks, here's the truth. Every week, you have leads that would have qualified, that could have turned into cases, that could have turned into real revenue for your firm, but you never got to them fast enough. By the time your team followed up, or by the time they were successful in getting in contact with them, if they were ever successful at all, they had already hired another attorney. And you'll never see those cases in your data. You'll never see them in your conversion report because they didn't make it far enough for you to speak with them and send your agreement out. They were never qualified formally. Many of them were never successfully contacted. They've become ghosts. They just disappear. No one talks about them. No one considers them. No one looks at them and says, what if? And I've seen this happen with late night calls that roll over to voicemail. I've seen it with web leads that sit for hours or days before someone calls back. And I've seen it when your call center vendor doesn't pick up quickly enough or has to call someone back. All of those leads, all of those calls, they're the lost opportunities that law firms usually have no idea about and have no idea how big that number really is. So let me give you a few concrete things to think about as you improve immediately after watching this. Number one, track the invisible leak. Don't just track agreements sent and signed. You need to know that, but start tracking how many leads you never got to qualify, how many you never got to speak with, and ask your team of the calls that we didn't send an agreement out on, how many would have qualified if we had gotten to them first, or most likely would have qualified based upon the information that we received. Listen, that's an uncomfortable KPI, but it is absolutely critical to comprehend. Number two, set real speed to lead standards. I'm not talking about vague goals like, hey, call them back really quick, as fast as you can. I'm talking about specifics. Under 60 seconds for inbound calls. That's not good enough. We've got to respond to inbound calls within 14 or 15 seconds. For web leads, you've got to call back a web lead within 2 minutes, not 8, not 15, not an hour, 2 minutes. And start measuring it by source and by time of day. If you're missing those windows, you're losing cases. Number three, Plan for 24/7 coverage. I need all of you to start to understand in our business, we are no longer, nor have we ever really been, a 9-to-5 weekday business. We are 24/7, 365, baby, and we've got to accept it, right? Accidents don't just happen between 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Nights, weekends, holidays, if you're not answering, if you're not responding, someone else is. Now, that doesn't mean you personally have to sit by the phone at 2 a.m., but it does mean that you need a system in place that ensures coverage, that ensures a response. And number 4, make a decision fast. If it's a clear case, communicate that decision within 3 minutes. I'm going to say that again. Your goal, your team's goal, is to communicate a decision as to whether you want to represent somebody or not within 3 minutes. Don't drag someone through a 20-minute Q&A only to say, let me share this with my team and we'll get back to you. And if you truly need more information, then set a specific time-bound next step before hanging up. Do not leave it vague. The industry's too competitive. So here's the bottom line. If you're only looking at agreements sent and signed, you're blind to the biggest leaks. The cases that you never even spoke to, the ones that never even made it onto your radar, those are the ones that are costing you the most. Build for first contact and fast contact, not just follow-up. Because the truth is, you're losing cases before you ever even get the chance to qualify them. Fix that gap, and you'll win cases your competitors don't even realize that they're losing.
Thank you for listening to the Intake Playbook Podcast. If this episode sparked a new idea or insight, take a moment to screenshot it and post it in the Intake Playbook group on Facebook. Share what resonated with you or what you'd like me to dive into next. Your input helps shape this podcast, and I'd love to hear from you. Let me ask you this. Is your intake process maximizing every opportunity? If not, I created the Intake Masterclass to help. Inside, you'll get access to the tools and strategies I've used to help firms transform their intake process and turn missed opportunities into measurable wins. Plus, you'll join a network of professionals all focused on growing their firms. The ROI you'll see from refining your intake will speak for itself. Visit intakeplaybook.com today and start making every lead count. Thank you again for spending your time with me on the Intake Playbook Podcast. Remember, intake isn't just about systems. It's about building trust and creating connections. Keep pushing forward. And if you're looking for more resources or details from today's episode, check out the show notes at intakeplaybook.com. I'll see you there.